I first want to thank everybody for coming out this morning. You know, we had a press conference maybe some weeks ago about our consolidation of the departments in the city, OEM, fire, and police, which came in handy recently with the reorganization. We tapped into then Chief of Detectives Anthony Ambrose at the county to come and be our public safety director here in the city of Newark. We also later moved to promote Chief Darnell Henry, who will now be the chief of police as soon thereafter Chief Campos retires. But ultimately, I'm happy with the way things are shaping up. Of course, it's just begun, and so there's some things that need to happen immediately. And I was praying things happen as fast as we want them to take place. Sometimes they don't happen as fast, but we are getting there, and I'm excited about it. And I want the public safety director to have an opportunity to talk about what some of his initial strategies and plans are regarding some of the kind of violence and crime that's happening in the city of Newark.
Let me first begin by saying, upon my arrival here about a month ago, I did an assessment with a team of executive staff members of the police department, the fire department, and OEM. I felt it was necessary to begin with the police department because of the surge of violence that we had in 2015. Some of the things that I've seen was that we have to do more enforcement, we have to do more investigative, and we have to have more community engagement. So for the first 45 days, this was one of my first of many steps that we're going to take. I think it was crucial that we reorganized the department. We once had a department that had 1,400 plus police officers. When I was here the last time, 10 years ago, and we're down now to about 950. So I want to shrink the organization. I want to have more partnerships with the county, the federal, and the state officials. That was one thing I want to do. The other thing was increase community involvement. I think there's been a disconnect with the community and the police department. It's important that the community is connected with the police department because they have to be our eyes and ears. And the reason for that is because there's a lack of trust. So I want to build trust up with the community. The first thing that I'd like to mention is I'd like to strengthen the major crimes shooting response team. Last year we had 382, maybe a little more, shootings in the city of Newark. The majority of them shootings occurred in the central, west, and south wards. Right now, we have a major crimes unit that we are going to transfer a minimum of 20 detectives in today. By 4 o'clock today, 20 more police officers, made detectives, will be transferred in there. We had 104 murders. Out of them murders, 80 of them happened in the same area. So the homicide task force, which the county handled, they will be increased with detectives also today. We have to focus on enforcement and investigative if we want to reduce violence and reduce crime. So we're lacking on both ends, and this plan will eliminate the lacking immediately. I want to get better intelligence. We're going to have an intelligence unit that's going to be hooked up right under the shooting response team with 24-hour intelligence on the street, boots on the ground, giving the intelligence. Not every murder, not every shooting is suppressible. I hope people realize that we could have 1,000,000 cops, but if someone wants to kill someone, they're going to kill them. If someone wants to shoot someone, they're going to shoot them. But we want to minimize it. We want to be able to control crime and make people feel safer. We want to also increase perception of our police force. We're also going to target, we call it eateries, we call it restaurants, we want to call it hangouts, where some of the drug dealing and some of the bad people flock to 24 hours a day. With the mayor's blessings, which we have, and now fire under me and OEM, we're going to work with the health department, with the fire department, with the police department, and neighborhood services to go into these establishments, cite them, and close them down if needed, because they're becoming perennial problems in the neighborhoods. And a lot of people in the city know these places because they're calling me and giving me the locations. That will be good. We're going to assess the police communications. Right now, I know that there's a response time issue. When you call the police, they don't respond in a timely fashion, or they don't answer the phones. I am doing a complete assessment. I'm putting a committee together Under the ordinance of Public Safety Director, there is a communications director that shall report to me. That is going to be looked at. By putting more people in the streets, officers, I believe that your response time will decrease slightly. We're going to reorganize internal affairs. Internal affairs was one of the main focal points behind the consent decree. We also have an attorney that will be assigned from the law department to me to oversee some of the internal affairs matters and be my eyes and ears on the trial board. Whole community ComStat. I think it's important that we have ComStat, Command Status Conference, every Thursday. Every Thursday but Thanksgiving. It'll be on a Wednesday. If you'd like to come, you just call my office and we'll put your name on a list and you can come. But I want to show the citizens of this city, even the people that work here, to come and show them how we do business and what we do and how we address their complaints and how we address crime. So what I'm asking for, and we will have in 45 days, a community ComStat and a church auditorium or in a school auditorium inviting the public to monitor our ComStat. I also like to have community citizen surveys. In order for me to do better and the police department to do better, I would like to query people that had contact with the police department in 2015 and asking them how their service was, how the officers were to them, were they satisfied with the service, so I can gauge our training so we can improve our efficiency and our effectiveness of the police department. I'm also going to query the police officers and find out what they need. That's important. And I will be meeting with the mayor and the administration and the council, and I will be rolling out after this 45 days a 90-day plan that will be more comprehensive and more in tune of a lot of things that have been occurring that needs to study.
Could you please give us an idea, when you say you want to put 20 detectives into investigating shooting crimes, and that you had 380 last year, what was your closure rate on those shootings? Do they include murders, by the way, or are they in addition to murders?
No, murders are handled by the Essex County Prosecutor's Office.
Okay,
what I'm talking about is just shootings where a person was either shot at or struck.
So how many people did you have investigating them, and what kind of success rate did you have?
The best I could say is that we can do better. We need more people in there. We definitely need to enhance the investigative force in there, and the clearance rate is unacceptable. I'll put it that way. It's going to be 1 in 45 days. We'll be setting up, and we'll be letting community groups throughout the city. My staff is already putting it together, so within 45 days. We also have a committee right now. We're hiring 150 police officers. I think that's the most important. I think that we're talking about a depleted police force with the layoffs, with people leaving because of pension, because of people leaving because they reached the maximum age or the maximum time. The mayor has directed me to appropriated monies to hire 150 police officers. So I have another meeting with the Attorney General's office because we don't have our own academy to start placing these individuals. That will take approximately 18 months to complete. And we have to also remember, as we're hiring 150, we're losing some people. And we have 78 graduating the police department, the police academy by May. So there is some bright things to policing and for more additional help. Go ahead.
Director, you mentioned bringing in the state police, which has been done before, and you mentioned them only coming in for 60 days. Tell me a little bit about what their involvement is going to be and what would happen, what do you hope would happen within those 60 days?
Okay, I was much involved, and all the time the state police came in, came in for 60 days. This time I'm asking for 6 months. I'm asking them to come in with uniformed troopers. I'm asking them to come in with investigative to help us on the investigative side. We will have troopers in our shooting response major crimes task force. I was guaranteed that by Colonel Fuentes. We will have a plan from the state police, which I don't want to announce his plan within the next couple of days. This is a minimum of 6 months coming in, boots on the ground with the state police.
I think what this strategy does is allows us to deal with the crimes before they become murders and begin investigating them in a way that we need. And our discussion prior to that has always been about the visual aspect of having police officers on the street, and we do need that. We absolutely need that. We had this whole discussion a few months ago about the state police's role. Like, should they be out here arresting people or should they be doing investigations? And some people thought they shouldn't be doing investigations because you can't see the police, but the investigations are important because when they did those investigations, we turned up 60, 70 arrests out of those investigations, and so we do need investigations in the city. This helps us tremendously along those lines.